That was interesting. Jeff Blair and David Amber sitting in for Tim and Sid. And before we go any further, I just wanted to apologize for the off-color language used by both Floyd Mayweather.
Which word in particular?
All
were
of
you
them.
going to apologize?
We were apologizing for everything.
It's
Listen,
like a Blair family reunion. I don't know what y'all are upset about. I mean, that's a Saturday night at the Blair house, so come on now.
It was interesting. There's actually a lot to unpack from what we just witnessed in the last 25 minutes. If you're just tuning in, you're wondering what's going on here. You're watching Sportsnet. Don't worry, we're not on HBO or Showtime. What's happening here is McGregor and Mayweather are getting set for their fight August 26th in Las Vegas. They're having 4 promotional dates, starting out with this one in Los Angeles, tomorrow in Toronto, then New York, followed by England. So listen, a lot happened there. Let's start with the gamesmanship right off the hop. Conor McGregor was sitting.
Yeah.
That would have been
If
interesting.
only, sweet Jesus, if this was Conor McDavid.
Conor McGregor is sitting out there alone, waiting and waiting on the stage for Mayweather to finally show up and appear on this stage. What do you make of the gamesmanship? Because this is being billed UFC versus the boxing community, Mayweather versus McGregor, everything.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. I mean, I didn't know what the crowd reaction was going to be. I kind of thought it was going to be pro-McGregor and pro-UFC. Because, look, I don't know how many boxing fans there are anymore. And I mean, given the choice of watching UFC or a boxing match, I'm going to watch boxing every day. But I don't know how many people are like that. Now, as much as I may not like MMA or UFC and think it's anyhow, more people watch that and watch boxing, so he's going to be more popular. But it kind of surprises McGregor.
Yeah.
It kind of surprises me. What do you hear every time there's a big sports event in the U.S. and there's an American against another competitor? We did not hear one, at least that I heard, USA, USA chant.
And this is in the USA.
And this is in the USA.
Wait till they go to England.
Exactly. That really intrigues me because I thought there would be, and again, this is just one of 4 news conferences, so maybe it'll change. But I'm really surprised at how pro-McGregor
The crowd was.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens to the betting line. I don't know if that transfers to the betting line because I think we all sort of expect that Floyd Mayweather this is going to last as long as he wants it to last, and if he's bored, it's over.
Listen, Mayweather, if you're just tuning in again, he is the prohibitive favorite here. I mean, the heavy favorite here to win this match. He's 49-0, 26 knockouts. Let's get to some of the specific words that were said, not the F words, the other words, the few other words that were spoken.
What, do you want me to break down the words for you? I can do that.
Here's what's interesting, though. McGregor said he promised a KO within the first 4 rounds. So there was the tail of the tape as far as the betting line goes. But a KO in the first 4 rounds. No one's beaten this guy, let alone knocked him out. What do you make of that promise?
I'm not enough of a fight fan to really say anything about that. All I know is I did see a picture, or I did see footage of him working the speed bag and Floyd Mayweather working the speed bag.
Yeah.
And I think there's a better chance of Conor McGregor knocking himself out than knocking Floyd Mayweather out.
He's never had a professional boxing match. Mayweather's given up 11 years. He's given up 2 inches of reach, 72 inches to 74 inches. And here's what Mayweather had to say. He starts out the press conference and he says, hard work. He said it 5 times in a row. He then said, I still got it. And then he said, he alluded to, McGregor did, the fact that the IRS is knocking down the door of Floyd Mayweather looking for some taxes. And he said, I'm the IRS and I'm going to tax your ass, which actually was a pretty good line.
Yeah, that was actually very good. He probably didn't write it, but I mean, it was very good. Well, as I said, this is what you saw there. This is again the perfect sports event for our time. It really is, and I don't know what it says about us that a lot of people are going to be watching it, but I don't think anybody can really be surprised at the tone and tenor of this.
We went into this sort of showing these funny proposition bets. Will the chair be thrown by McGregor? What would happen? Would one of them storm off the stage? It didn't escalate to that point, but 4 straight days of this. Tomorrow in Toronto, then New York the following day, then Friday in England. Do you expect, like, we're going to have an incident here? Because 4 days of this is a lot in a row.
I mean, I wonder about the Ontario profanity laws, if they exist. I wonder if, I have no idea what tomorrow's going to bring with these guys.
Final thoughts on that?
Not surprised. A little surprised at how pro that crowd was UFC. But a lot of people whose opinion I respect say they've never seen Floyd Mayweather act like that. They've never, and you know, the question is who's in whose head. And what I'm getting from Twitter is that's not Floyd Mayweather. That's Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor does that all the time.
Yeah.
That other stuff isn't Floyd Mayweather. I don't know what that means, but it's probably notable.
And tomorrow we'll see them in Toronto doing the same thing, I'm sure. So that should be interesting here on Canadian soil. We'll have that for you on Sportsnet as well. If you missed any of that McGregor-Mayweather escapade, we're going to have some more of that coming up a little bit later on the show. We have a jam-packed show here. So these guys go away, and we get all this, lots of things happening.
You know, those guys are sitting at home. They're just laughing. They can't believe that they missed that.
Oh, yeah. I imagine what it would be. Sid would be quite fun right now.
Sid would have the jacket off and he'd be running around flexing.
I think he likes McGregor. I'm not sure.
Like that.
Yeah, it probably.